Aloha, aloha, aloha. We are about to go live on Amazon Live in like 3, 2, 1. But for those of you watching on a different platform, I'm going to introduce my amazing guest, Mr. Let me make sure I'm pointing in the right way.
Yeah, you're
Mr.
pointing the right
Fighter
direction. I'm
Pilot,
over here.
five-time best-selling author, right here, Mr. Ed Rush. I'm going to do another intro once we go live on Amazon. But
Yeah, what's
how
up,
are
Coach Deb?
you,
So
my
a little
friend?
behind the scenes stuff. So we're doing our first, this is our first interview together, but we decided to make this Coach Deb's first Amazon Live interview. So we're over there on a brand new platform, which is a blast. I actually did my first show there as well today. And not a lot of people know about that one quite yet, but it's going to be big. So I'm excited to be on the show today. We're going to talk about how you can accomplish great things in a short period of time. We're going to talk about why the rabbit and the hare is a big lie. And we're going to have a lot of fun, but over to you.
I love it, Ed. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is what I like about having you. You've been a star of your own show. You have a podcast. You have several books. In fact, 5 best-selling author. You are a 5-time best-selling author. I'm able to let you run with it while I get the behind the scenes going on Amazon Live. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you're getting kind of the behind the scenes before we go live on Amazon. But I'm about to click the go live button over there.
Yeah,
So
let's do
I'm
it.
going to reintroduce Ed. So are you
That's
ready?
cool. Yeah,
All
I
right.
liked how you said I'm the star of my own show. I think, aren't we all the star of our own show? I always say, people don't wake up in the morning hoping to be the hero or to be in someone else's hero movie. They want to be the hero in their own movie. So
That's exactly right.
welcome to the hero movie.
And now you're the star of my show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna hit this button and 3, 2.
And
My
we are
guest.
on. Are we live?
Yes, we are now live on
Okay.
Amazon Live and across the world. Simulcast. Coach Deb, your host here of this brand new Amazon Live series. It's an author series, and I'm honored to have fighter pilot, Top Gun, 5-time best-selling author, Mr. Drumroll, Ed Rush.
What's up, Coach Deb?
Welcome. This
How
is
are you?
incredible
Awesome to be
stuff.
here. For those of you who are here with us, like Tyra, ahead of time on YouTube, thank you for your patience in the last 2 minutes. For those of you who are just jumping in with us on Amazon, this is our first stream. Well, Coach Deb's first stream. This is our first stream together. And she's the one who told me about this awesome platform anyway. So today we're going to talk about how you can get a lot done in a short period of time, how to break through the rabbit and the hare lie, which I'll explain what that is in just a moment. And then grow your brand, sell more books, share your message with the world, have a lot more fun. And we're going to pack it all into just about 20 minutes. So it's going to be a blast.
I love your book, Ed Rush. I have it here on my Amazon Kindle. This is where all of my books are
Yeah.
now that after I stopped buying hardback books behind me. But behind you, if you could show our viewers the book that we're going to
Boom.
talk about today.
Yeah. So this book, 21 Day Miracle, this by far, I've written 5 books. All of them were best-selling books, but this one by far was my most popular book, hands down. At one point, it was Amazon's #1 business book. It was the number 22 book over all books on Amazon, not like just in its category, like literally all books. I beat Tim Ferriss and Seth Godin in one of those days. It was absolutely amazing. And part of the reason is because the book shares a message about how to take your life back and have a lot more fun. The truth is, you've been told a lie. And that lie is that when you put a rabbit and a hare next to each other, that the when you put the turtle and the hare next to each other, that the turtle always wins. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched a turtle race against a hare before, but we have this garden. It's actually right outside this window I'm looking out right now. Right on the other side of this window, my wife has this amazing garden, fruit and vegetable garden. And just the other day, I looked out there and my son, my 14-year-old son, said, "Hey, Dad, there's a rabbit stuck here in the garden." And the moment he said "stuck here in the garden," that rabbit went through the fence and ran down my driveway at about 1,000,000 miles an hour. That's because rabbits are fast. And you've been told the story that when you put a rabbit and a hare next to each other, that slow and steady wins the race. And that's just not true. Slow and steady gets beat every time because rabbits always win. And the message of the 21 Day Miracle is that the most successful people in the world build their lives around what I call strategic sprints, short sprints to get them to a direction of a big goal. My vision is to dream big impossible dreams, and then to build sprints that get me one step closer to those dreams. And that's what we're going to talk about today, among other things, on this amazing show with Coach Deb.
What I love, Ed, is I feel like you read my mind and my questions, because you kick off with this myth of the tortoise and the hare. And we grew up with that story, Ed. We've literally been programmed as children. I was talking to you before we went live this morning, when we were setting up all the technical logistics, where, I remember when I was in kindergarten and I would sit down and we would go to the library and the teacher would read us books. And I loved it. I've been a reader since I couldn't read, right? When she would read to me. And I remember I opened up my Kindle and I opened up to the first chapter of your book, right in the first couple pages. And on Amazon Live, you get to look inside. So you'll be able to see the story. And it's like, wow, we've been told a lie since our very early priming as children. And that's dangerous. And we wonder why we fail at accomplishing our goals and doing things faster, or just doing things in general and committing to a habit, because we're like, oh, slow and steady wins the race. And it's funny because I remember my mom and I are very different in our personality. She's like, slow down, Debbie, chill out. And I'm hyper, if you haven't been able to figure that out, right? And I'm like, no, you have to go. And I was from the East Coast, and I grew up where if you didn't do things faster than your competitor, you were toast, right? So I love that you dispel this myth in the beginning. And before we get into some of the book content, which I love, and if you're watching us on Amazon Live, what I love is in here in the carousel, you'll notice, and I think it's either on the right or on the left of your screen, or if you're on the phone, it's at the bottom. But in the carousel, we have his book, a best-selling book, by the way, The 21-Day Miracle, How to Change Anything in 3 Short Weeks. Go and grab it today. I don't want to mention what it is on Kindle or on paper book, because sometimes they change, and Amazon Live is very particular, but it's a deal.
I'll raise the price. You never know. So on my screen, that book shows up right over here. But so I'll just tell you, if you read Kindle, it's like 99 cents. And every few months, Amazon sends me an email and says, you should, raise the price. You'll make more money if you raise the price. But I like 99 cents books, because I'm like, look, if you can't get 99 cents value out of this book. So, but if you read paperbacks, I actually I read real books. I think we're just talking about this. I like holding on to books and reading them. And then when I'm done with the book, I put them in a box right here. And when I get about 50 books into a box, I call the Veterans Organization. They come and they pick it up. I get a donation receipt, and some other great people get to read the books that I read. And
smart. That is so smart.
I read probably 2 to 3 books a week anyway, so I'm going through a lot of content. But the interesting thing about the book, so the way people typically teach productivity, time management, getting things done sounds something like this. And I get this question a lot about morning routine. And I always joke, I'm like, I wake up at 3:45 in the morning. After my 2 hours of working out, I eat a breakfast of only nuts and bolts. And that'll take me to about 7:30. And then I'm really ready for my day. And none of that is true. I live a very peaceful life and a very restful life. I manage several companies, got well over 20 clients right now, all very high-end folks that you would probably know. But my life is very peaceful and restful because I've taught myself how to sprint, how to get things done in a really quick period of time. So I usually don't work before 9 or 10 in the morning. I'm almost always done before 5. I always take weekends off unless I'm speaking. Usually I work about 3.5 to 4 days a week. And the truth is, you can create a lifestyle like that when you know how to sprint. A lot of the productivity training that's out there is about sprinting all the time. And then 5 years later, you're completely out of juice. And so part of the reason for the sprint is for the rest. And my vision is to push rest into all areas of your life and to create these unbelievably impossible goals that you can reach. And so I always tell people the first step to the 21-day miracle process is to come up with something ridiculous. And I mean it when I say ridiculous. I mean something blow your mind out of the water ridiculous. In fact, your goal has to be so out there that when you say it, people have to laugh. Okay, let me give you an example. One of my goals is to live to be 144 years old. One of my goals is to be the president of the United States. One of my goals is to be influential in colonizing a planet. Okay, now when I say 144, most of the time people go, and I'm like, I'm not kidding. I was not joking when I said that. When I say one of my goals is to colonize the planet, people are like, and I'm like, I'm not joking about that either. Like, eventually we're gonna have this technology to be able to pull that off. And I would love to be influential in, helping colonize the planet. Now, the interesting thing is the other day, I was talking to a regenerative doctor who's a client of mine. This is a guy who's on the cutting edge of health. He's helping people live longer, and he's helping people live better lives using stem cells and exosomes and a whole bunch of really cool cutting edge stuff. Okay. And I was talking to him, and he said, well, what are your health goals? And I said, first, I want to live to be 144 years old. You know what he said to me? He said, well, I can help you do that. And I thought, isn't it amazing when you get around abundant people? He didn't laugh. He was like, oh, I want to help you do that. And so the first step is to create something unbelievably impossible. And then the second step is to build yourself a small plan to get yourself there, right? So maybe you want to live to be 144. Maybe your small plan, the first step is 21 days of eating a specific way that you know is great for your body. And that 21-day miracle is designed to propel you into that next 144 or, 100 years or whatever that is for you.
All right, and I'm pulling up here your book. And I was running over to like the table of contents when you were wrapping up that story. I also want to get a little bit into your background as a fighter pilot, because I feel like that has brought a lot of these tips here in the book. And I'm just looking through it. You've got the tools of the trade. I think the part 2 is my favorite, where it's the 21-day mindset miracle, money, inner warrior, time freedom, life balance, happiness. Don't we all need a little bit more of that these days? Relationship, business, and addiction. Gosh,
yeah,
all of that.
Yeah. So I covered the areas that I thought were, so the first thing, the book, beginning of the book, first part of the book covers the process, 21-day miracle process. Very simple process that'll change your life. The second part of the book are 10 core areas that you can choose to do a sprint in, and it starts with mindset. I always think the mind is really where all this stuff begins anyway. It goes to money, which is one of the biggest things that people want to master. I talk about how to create an inner warrior spirit, about how to create time freedom, life balance, which is a big joke. The chapter is a joke. It's a tease. I don't actually teach life balance. That's the joke. But the other stuff isn't. 21-day happiness miracle, 21-day body miracle, 21-day relationship miracle, 21-day business miracle, which is really the area of my expertise, and then 21-day addiction miracle. The idea is to show you how in any area of your life, and it doesn't have to be those 10, it can be in any area of your life that you want to make a significant change in. You can do that in a short period of time. 21 days just so happens to be short enough that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but long enough to be able to develop a significant habit, right? So let's say it's fitness. It's the most common one that people sometimes like to think about. Well, let's face it. The first couple days you go back to the gym, or the first couple days you start running, or the first couple days you start doing yoga, the first couple days, it's like a little bit of an adjustment, but you've got some steam going. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. I'm going to make this happen. Okay. But right around like the 4th day, out to maybe about the 7th day, this is when most people quit. Most people are like, I'm done. This doesn't work. I tried this before, and they're out. So they went to the gym. They don't have the gym. They have the gym membership anymore, but they don't go. Okay. And that usually happens in like the 40s. It was 21 gets you to the point where, you know, the feeling you get where you're like, wake up in the morning and you're excited to actually get to the gym. 21 days is enough to get you there. Right. So it's short enough so that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but long enough that you can really develop some significant patterns. Deb mentioned my fighter pilot background, real short. So I failed kindergarten, not something that I like to advertise or whatever. But I made up my way all the way to being a graduate of Top Gun, which you probably saw the movie Top Gun. And so from sort of not really knowing anything all the way to being one of the leading instructors in the entire Marine Corps when it comes to 1-on-1 dogfighting and flying F-18s and everything in between. So the book 21-Day Miracle is really built out of the cockpit of the F-18, because if you want to be a good pilot, you're going to need to understand how to do things fast. It's like those two things kind of go hand in hand, like 1,000 miles an hour and fast thinking have to go hand in hand. And that's really what the message of the book is all about.
Yeah, I love the first, again, table of contents. I read this immediately. I've learned that you don't always have to read a book cover to cover. Someone taught me that you go to table of contents, grab the 3 chapters that you like are triggered
Yeah.
by, and those are the 3 that are going to change your life, even if you never read it from beginning to end. And I love this. That's right, Iceman. I'm dangerous. I
I'm
mean,
dangerous. Yeah.
you're a real fighter pilot. You're a real Top Gun fighter. Like that's badassery, right? And you said it was built and written out of this cockpit, like the mentality. I remember you were telling me when we were in my sports car how to position the rear view mirrors.
It's right.
It's a great tip if you could share that with people, because it's these little tips that you also shared throughout the book, not necessarily about how to race your car fast, but also be safe. But that was a great tip. I want you to share that. But it just reminded me of how you wrote this book and was like, by the way, this is a page turner. This is like a James Patterson book where it's like a novel and I've got to read the next page. You're a great storyteller. It's packed with stories. It's fantastic. But share that little tip of how you're supposed to.
You were racing, weren't you racing cars? You were racing Porsches, weren't you?
Yeah, the M3,
yes,
BMW M3 first,
yeah,
and then Porsche Cayman S. Yes,
yeah.
And you taught me how to put the.
Hey, I raced a Porsche in Road Atlanta just a few months ago. Actually, it was with Phil Town. If you're familiar with Phil, the investment advisor.
Yes, I am.
And it was fun. I hadn't really raced cars before. It was fun to see the fighter pilot training work itself out in the car. There's a lot of similarities, as you might imagine. Yeah. And a lot of people get more stressed, more tense, and less accurate when they're faster. And for some reason, my mind, I get more accurate, less stressed when I'm moving fast. So at 150, 160 miles an hour, my mind is sort of like Neo in the Matrix. And that's training, by the way. That's not like natural gifting or anything. That's just having done it. So that's cool. Yeah, the mirror trick. So the way the mirrors work is most people have their side mirrors pointed in the same place that their rear view mirror is. And so the mirror trick is you take your field of vision from the rear mirror, and then you set the side ones just at the edge of that field of vision. It actually moves them significantly farther out. So you actually see the cars that are sitting next to you, which is a huge blind spot for most people. And I always just challenge people when they're driving is just know at any given time, where all the cars are around you in 360 degrees. I can't tell you the number of times that it's either saved my life or my car, just knowing this lane's open instinctually and somebody comes to try to hit you, you just move right over without even having to look to see if anyone's over there. So
yeah, my pop-up was a taxi driver in New York City.
Yeah.
And he gave me a few tips. So I feel it's very similar.
Yeah.
Always having an escape route was one of the biggest tips. Always have an escape route. Never have been in an accident. Knock on wood, Ed. Knock on wood. But those
isn't that great?
Yeah, they save us. And you've got all of those tips in this book, but for our life and our business. So whether you have a business, you have a brand that you want to get at, or just amp your life and change your life. The past 2 years, people have been absolutely in this more depressed state.
Oh, yeah.
They've gotten in more addictions. So this book, more than ever, I think I bought it in 2017.
Yeah.
And when we were setting up for the interview, I opened it up. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great. I looked at all my highlights. So I feel like right now in this day and age, it is prevalent more than ever. And you are also writing a new book.
Yeah, I got a book coming out.
Hint about what's in the new book?
Yeah, I'll give you a hint in a second. But yeah. So, the interesting thing, Deb, when I was writing the book, when I was writing 21 Day Miracle, so when I say prevailing spirit, what I essentially mean is the way our culture operates and thinks. And I would say for the last maybe 20 years, the prevailing spirit in our culture has been busy, rush, hurry, don't stop. For example, if you walked up to somebody at church or, a friend of yours at a family reunion or whatever, you would be like, how are you doing? And they would say, oh, so busy, so busy. That was almost like a badge of honor in our culture to be so busy. And so the spirit of our culture, the prevailing spirit for about 20 years was busy. It was like our badge of honor. And this book is designed to show you the sprint part and the rest part. It was designed to give you peace. But what happened, interestingly enough, in the last 2 years is that prevailing spirit shifted from busy to fear. The fear that is communicated through the news and social media airwaves right now is physically tangible. If our news, and by the way, this isn't a partisan statement. I'm not a member of any of the political parties by choice. I'm not a partisan person. I'm an American. I'm a person that loves our country and thinks God has a great future for us, but also thinks that we've been led astray by everyone. I mean, I'm telling you, we have not done a good job choosing leaders, and that's not speaking about this president or the current president or any. It goes back a long time. Okay,
in a while, yeah.
But the prevailing spirit being fear. So the news media figured out quite some time ago that if they could terrify people, they could drive advertising ratings. And because advertising ratings are more important than you are, they've learned how to make people afraid. Well, that seeped into the corners. And now you'll talk to someone who, like, we have a neighbor who we used to spend a lot of time with, and now it's really difficult to even talk to them because they're so terrified of what would happen if you talk to them. And I'm like, you are dying 1,000 deaths over the time that you're avoiding one. And so this book will help you because the book is abundance minded. And like here's the thing, that we have an amazing world. You have an amazing body, and you have an incredible immune system. And I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just simply telling you the way to think. There was a point in time where my entire family got sick, Deb, and I didn't. Okay. And part of the reason I didn't was because I was like, look, I'm just not going to get sick today. It's like, I'm not saying like I thought myself out of it. Like, don't say that, don't test me on any scientific claims. What I'm simply telling you is that how you think is really important. And this book's going to help you on how you think. Now, my next book is deep on the mindset stuff. I have a technique that I use at my events where I help my audience ask God questions and get answers. And I've done this with well over 1,000 people, 99.97% success rate. It's off the chart. And the book is about that process. And it's not a
not a religious book, but
it's
more
not it comes from a sect or anything. I've had everyone from all different religious groups use this technique, and it works. It's a lot of fun.
And are you going to reveal some of the things that happen?
Yeah, in a month when the book comes out. It's still in a. It's still
not now. Very, but in the book.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah. So in the book, you reveal some of the things that.
Oh yeah, I teach my whole method. Yeah.
Yeah.
I teach my whole method from beginning to end. It starts with curiosity. It goes to shutting down your inner critic. I teach you how to ask specific question, how to journal your answers, what to do with those answers. And the most important thing is how to instantly, and when I say instantly, I mean instantly, recode your subconscious mind for success. So for example,
I love this, by the way. This is my favorite topic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, right? Some of us grew up, for example, in an environment where money was scarce or where you were taught that money was scarce. And so, for example, mom said money doesn't grow on trees, or dad said, what do you think I'm made of money? Or, your parents taught you that money is hard to come by, or that, any number of things like that. Well, if you grew up that way, like if you become an entrepreneur like us, and you grew up in a money is scarce situation, or you were taught that growing up, or it was treated that way, it was growing up, what happens with us is we become what I call Grand Central stations for money. I don't know if you've ever been to Grand Central Station. Grand Central Station is a place where you go to get somewhere else. You don't stay. Like, you don't stay the night down on the tracks. There's no beds. It's very uncomfortable. There's barely even a place to sit. You know what I mean? And so it's designed for you to go through. And if you have a screwed up money mindset, most entrepreneurs I know have a bad mindset initially when it comes to money. If you have a screwed up money mindset, you will become Grand Central Station for money. What that means is you might make money, but you're not going to hold on to it. And it's crazy. I have had clients of mine, no exaggeration, who were making $17 million a year with 7 employees and still couldn't hold on to money because they had a broken money mindset. Well, the book, my new book, shows you how to instantly recode your subconscious mind around 6 different topics, money being one of those, so that you instantly begin attracting the kind of wealth that you can attract. And it's unbelievable what your mind can do. Your mind, every result you have in your life, and I mean it when I say every, is first as a result of your thoughts. Your thoughts, I'll just do this really quickly. Your thoughts become actions, and your actions become results. Okay, so if you have a result in your life that you're not thrilled about, money, relationships, your bank account, your where you live, if you're not thrilled with the result, it's as a result of a series of actions. Those actions are as a series of beliefs. So if you what does it say? Words become actions, they become habits, become character. Yeah, this is basically, I'm giving you the summed down version of that of that thing. Your words become your thoughts become your actions become your results. So if you're not happy with your results, you're not making as much money as you want to, you don't have the kind of relationships you want to, your body isn't the way that you want it to be. Look through your actions into the way you think. And if you want to make changes, begin to think differently, you'll begin to act differently, and then you'll begin to have different results. And it sounds simple. And the reason it sounds simple is because it is simple. It's very simple. It's not hard. That's the crazy thing about the personal development industry. Like the personal development industry has made billions of dollars telling you how hard the answers are. You know, like the personal development industry is like, here, you're not enough and you don't know enough. But if you can only get this one thing. And my whole thing is maybe the answer is inside of you. Maybe you are enough. Like maybe you have the vehicle to be able to accomplish great things in your life. Maybe it's all sitting there inside of you. And part of my mission in life is to be able to give you the tools to be able to unlock what's already inside of you, which is that wealth, abundance, health, happiness, joy, all those things that you're like right on the other side of right now. If you could just get that one step done. So
preach it. Forget the pilot. Forget the pilot. You're bound to be a preacher next in your next life.
I've done some of that too. I've done a lot of that actually. I do like that. Depends on the church, but I do like it.
Yeah, I'm pulling up another book of yours that I also loved. If you could talk a little bit about that, Take the Shot.
That's my first book. I wrote that book back in 2008. I call that my 50-page book jammed into 98 pages. That is a book that you can literally get by. You could stick it on the back of your toilet, and you could read it over about 3 visits, and you're done. It is a very simple approach to getting more done. And it's a series of fighter pilot stories with a point. So I talk about my first night carrier landing and how that kind of systematic precision can help you in your life. I talk about how I went out of control in an F-18 and how that systematic step-by-step precision can help. And just so you know, your screen's up. So you know, if you're pulling up the latest
it's this show. Actually, Scandal. I was just telling Tyra, I was sending her the link.
Oh, that's cool.
This is where you can get his books. And right now, 99 cents, you can get this book. And
you just go to Amazon and type in my name. Like, let me see what happens if I type my name into Amazon.
It comes up in books. You come up next to books.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm up. There you go. Look at me. Yeah, there it is right there.
I literally put Ed Rush and your books came up. Your picture came up. So yeah, the 21-day miracle, 99 cents, and the Take the Shot. So highly recommend you get both. I saw Tyra, I was reading her comments that she added it to the book. So I'm going to put the post that you can get it right now today.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best deal.
None of this next time you order, Tyra. None of this soon stuff.
One click, baby. One click. Amazon.
Now. And talk about that. And we didn't mean to interrupt your story. I want you to continue that. But then maybe right after that story or now, talk a little bit about that. Like, why do we delay, right? Your book, the 21 day, right? It's talking about changing habits. So Tyra, if we can challenge you right now to not wait till tomorrow, get it now, get it today, because those types of habits are going to be infiltrated everywhere. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we should just let Tyra order the book next time. Maybe the timing is right. You know what I mean? I don't know. So yeah, it's interesting. The idea of timing, especially entrepreneurial timing. So my son the other day, you just have these days, just like you have these days, right? We were having one of these days around my house. By the way, I have 4 kids. Okay. So I have a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 3-year-old. Okay. So yeah, I know what causes that. I got it. I got all the jokes. Okay. So we're having a day, the 3-year-old's crazy and that day, and the 14-year-old's having a 14-year-old teeny day, and my 16-year-old's having some stress, and everybody's like kind of freaking out. And I come upstairs from like my work day, and everybody's all crazy. And my son, my 14-year-old, just says something nasty, and it wasn't even that nasty, but it just was the bad timing. You ever have one of those phrases that comes through and it's just bad timing? And I just looked at him and I said, look, man, do you know the difference between salad and garbage? And my son, because he has read my stuff, looked at me and said, "Timing, Dad. It's timing." And I said, "Yeah." So I think he was asking about food, like, "Hey, when are we going to get some more burgers?" or something like that. We're out of bread. And I said, "Look, son, what you asked is not a bad question to ask, but the timing was bad. So it's garbage." So entrepreneurial timing is one of the most important things that you can do. And now often is a really good time, especially when it's taking action on something that you've been procrastinating on. So sometimes now is a really good time. But you know what? Sometimes it's just a matter of having a little peace and waiting for the good stuff to come to you that's coming to you as well. And so there's a nice little balance between those two.
Forget the tortoise, right? Be the
No,
hare.
Tyra, I love it. Tyra's like, no, I'm just watching the show. I'll get it afterwards. What do you want to do? Click off the show? That's what I thought you were going to do.
I like her.
That's
Big
awesome.
fan of
That's
Tyra.
awesome. Yeah, that's good.
I do like that you brought up children, Ed, because that was one of the questions when you were talking about mindset.
I did bring up children. I brought up four children. One's not brought up yet, but yeah.
4 of them. Yeah. So I love that because mindset and your thoughts, right? I had to grab it off the shelf and now it's behind me. The words, actions, thoughts, right? The words, when I hear teens and children say things like, "Oh, well, maybe," or "if," or "I don't know." And it's like, nope, you're programming your mind.
Yeah.
Right. So talk a little bit about that if you're a parent, that's another thing that you can use his book for.
No
is
question.
Programming the mind of your children.
Yeah. I mean,
here's them to change their mindset by changing their words.
Crazy. So first of all, like I wish, my parents were really good parents. So like they were doing the best that they could. I wish somebody had taught me all this stuff a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's just stuff, like for example, I was on the phone with my coach. Of course, like anybody, I've got people that I work with that I get advice from. And I got on the phone and she said, "So how you doing?" And I said, "Oh, hanging in there." She goes, "You always say that. What does that mean? You're hanging in there?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a good question. Why do I say I'm just hanging in there? Why is it my first phrase? Why is it the thing that I say? I mean, I'm not really just hanging in there. Why do I say that? Because if words become actions, if words become thoughts and thoughts become actions and actions become results, why would I say something like that, right?" And so it's even stuff like that. So for example, my kids will be like, nothing goes right for me. And I'm like, you be careful with the words that you say. You could say, "Today has been challenging for me, but I'm looking forward to when things will be going my way." That's a little bit of a different way to say something like that, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is the words that you say. Like you will hear people who will say, "Money just doesn't stick around for me." Well, the reason money doesn't stick around for you, because you've been telling yourself money doesn't stick around for me, right? You have people who are like, for years, man, people would come up to me, especially in like the Christian church world where I grew up, and they'd be like, "Marriage is tough. Marriage takes work. Marriage is tough. Marriage takes work." I'm like, you know why your marriage is tough? Because you've been telling yourself for 20 years, marriage is tough. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not buying into that. I don't think so. Last I checked, it says it's not good for a man to be alone. Like I thought it was better. So there's weird stuff, right? That people will tell you. And a lot of it sometimes is like this self-defense sort of thing or whatever.
Sure.
Like people will never change, or that's just our government. Like, no, that's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to say, well, that's just no, it's not. That is not the way we ought to be. So let's make a change to that. You know what I mean? Like everything that is said. And it's interesting when you start listening to yourself and the things that you say, even sometimes the stupid self-deprecating things that you say that are meant to be in jest, oftentimes land on a more appropriate belief system that you have. And by the way, in the book that I'm writing right now that you'll read in a month, I talk about how to recode that. And one of the ways you recode it is you simply just say, "I break the lie that money doesn't grow on trees. And I choose instead to believe that money is abundant and coming to me in new ways every day." Like that's just a new belief system. But when you say that, what happens is your conscious mind, where you're saying those things, programs your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is acting as a processing device to give you what you want. The subconscious isn't aware. The subconscious has no morality. The subconscious doesn't even know fact from fiction. Like last night, I watched the movie Don't Look Up. That was the Comet movie about the Earth being destroyed. And so like in my dreams, I had these dreams about like the Earth being destroyed. Well, it's because your subconscious is like, wait a second, is there really a comment or not? You know, this doesn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
know fact or fiction or right or wrong. It just knows what you delivered. It's like a missile. Wow. Like if I target lock my missile on the bad guy's airplane, it's going to go to the bad guy's airplane. If I target lock my missile on the good guy's airplane, it's going to go to the good guy's airplane. The missile's not like, oh, I'm sorry, Ed, what did you want me to? It just doesn't know. It just knows the instructions, and your subconscious mind simply knows the instructions you process to give it, right? So if you're saying to your subconscious, money doesn't grow on trees, or money's hard to come by, or marriage is difficult, or relationships never work out for me, or I guess that's just going to be the way it is for me, or I missed out, or I'm too old, or I'm too young, or any of those lies, your subconscious is going to deliver you the successful result of exactly what you programmed it to do. So when would now be a really great time to reprogram your subconscious mind? How about now? And that's what this next book, actually, I talk a lot about it in this book too, frankly. There's a huge section in here about the inner critic. And when I say huge, I mean like 2 pages, because I don't do huge anything when it comes to books. My books get to the point, just so you know. There's not like fluff. So anyway, yeah, there it is again, 21 Day Miracle. Look at that, man, 99 cents. Kindle Unlimited. It's free. It's free on Kindle Unlimited, for crying out loud. If you really want to scratch my back, buy the paperback. This is like, you know, I don't need the money or anything, but I do like reading actual real books, you know. So
the people that are watching it need the book. And yes, I agree with the physical books. My friend Julie Broad actually puts me in every book in order for me to get to buy her book, I guess. Yeah. She always reveals something that I'm like, oh my gosh, the one, it was a Vegas story. And I'm like, I thought what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. No, not if you are friends with an author. But then that's funny. Yeah. And then the last book she wrote talked all about how I have this book thing. Oh, I have my Kindle. Sorry. This is running in the background. I hear it in the background. Sorry, closing that. She talks about my, I guess, fetish for the smelling of the book. And apparently it's a thing. There's a name for it. And I'm like, I did not know this. But yeah, I learned it by reading her book talking about me. So yeah.
There's a book smell. Here, okay, here, I'll do this. I'll tell you what. So the book on Amazon, the paperback version of the book is $15, okay? Anyone who buys 5, all right, that's 50, 75, 75, right? Is that what it is? If you buy 5, it's $75, right? So here's the deal. You buy 1, you keep it for yourself, you give 4 away. You can give them to your friends or your family. You can go down to local high school and give 4 away. Anyone who buys 5 on Amazon today, I have an event coming up in Dallas. It's March 4th and 5th. The event is all about this next book that I'm writing about how to recode your mind for success, mostly around money success, okay? Anyone who buys 5 books, just check this out, will get 2 free tickets to my event. Now, just so you know, full transparency, my event is selling for $300 a ticket right now, and I'm selling it at $300. That's not a made-up number, okay? So I'm going to give you, you're going to invest $75 in 5 books, but you're going to get the books, right? So it's not like it's just $75. And you're going to get $600 worth of tickets to my next event, March 4th and 5th in Dallas. That's 75. That's like a 8-to-1, 9-to-1 return on your investment. That's a really good deal. Okay.
I like the math you're doing in your head here, Ed. I love this. This is
like there you go. So 75. Did I do the math right? 150.
Ed, because I was about to do it, but I didn't want to get out of Amazon Live. I also want to shout out a few of you that are watching live here, like Monty Weaver. Hello. And we have Melena who says, I love the Top Gun, the movie.
Hey, Monty, how are you?
So maybe we'll parlay you into the movie. Yeah, you were who was the guy? In the movie. No, he's the 5-time best-selling
Second Coming of
author,
Iceman. That was
Ed Rush. What's that?
Yeah, Second Coming of Iceman. That's
Second Coming of Iceman.
It's a joke for my book too.
Yeah. You know he is a comedian now, Iceman.
Wait, Val Kilmer? Really?
No, sorry, the
Tom
other
Cruise.
guy.
The other guy.
Wrong information. Sorry about that.
Oh, Goose.
But what I love about what you just did here, Ed, first of all, you gave people incentive to go and buy 5 of the paperback books. Like I think about that where I love books. I love how you read a book and then give them away to veterans, right? It's like, okay, it doesn't have to be clutter for the people who don't like that. But the other thing is giving them as gifts. One of the best presents, one of the best gifts in life you can give someone is a book that's going to feed their mind.
Yeah.
And I love what you did as my first guest in this Amazon book author series is you just stepped up the game with this surprise gifting. And now I'm going to, I think, require every author to give something
Oh, that's a good
crazy
idea. Just like an
you,
extra
Ed
bonus.
Rush. So way to set the bar right there. And shout out to my buddy Monty Weaver. He's the one who got me all excited about Amazon Live when I met him on Clubhouse, which was an audio app about a year ago. So Monty is here for our first interview series. This is the first time I had a guest on my show. It's exciting. It was nerve-wracking. We did some behind-the-scenes stuff. So this is just to encourage those of you watching, whether you're watching on Amazon Live or wherever else, to do new things. And it will be scary. It may be something that will stretch you, but I promise you your life will be better. Your business will be better when you try new things. So grab Ed Rush's book. If you can hold it behind you. I've got it.
Yeah, I'll stick it right here. So just to recap the deal, and I have to tell you how to get your tickets. So I'm going to do something that I don't do very often. I'm going to give you my email. I'm going to give you my actual email. And that is against anyone's best advice on shows like this, by the way. But I'm going to give you, this is not the email address that goes to my team, okay? This is the one that comes to me. So first of all, this is the book, 21 Day Miracle. Get yourself a copy. It's 99 cents or free on Kindle Unlimited. But when you buy 5 books on Amazon, paperback versions, so 5 paperback, they're $15 each, okay? So like that's not even that expensive. You buy 5, send me your receipt from Amazon. My email, write this one down. Coach Deb, you can actually put this in chat if you want to.
Okay.
It's coaching, COACHING. That's coaching, COACHING at edrush.com. My domain is edrush.com. It's my name. So coaching at edrush.com. When you email me there, just shoot me the receipt from Amazon and say, hey, here's the 5 books that I bought. I will give you 2 free tickets to my event in Dallas, okay? And it's a 2-day event. Tickets are selling for $300 a piece. When you email me, I'll send you the link so you can read all about the event and everything. And the event is on how to instantly, when I say instantly, I mean right there at the event, you're going to be taught how to ask good questions and then instantly recode your mind for success. It's going to blow your mind. And if you can't make the event, I'll send you the recordings anyway. Okay, so it's a pretty good deal, but you should come live. It's going to be a blast. And I know some people are like, "Hey, Ed, I can't come to your event, because I'm getting married that weekend or whatever." And if that's you, I totally understand. You've got something that's really important. But here's what I recommend: move the marriage, move the wedding.
I was about to say,
come to the event. You're going to learn how to make so much more money. You can have that amazing honeymoon when you've made more money. I mean, it's all going to help you. So move the wedding, move your kid's wedding, move the, vacation or whatever.
Everything.
Come to Dallas, March 5th and 6th, and March 4th and 5th, and we'll have a blast.
I love that you're doing live events again.
Can't wait, dude.
Great. This is great.
I can't wait. I actually did a live event right in the middle of COVID. And I sent an email out to my list and I said, you want to do a live event or a virtual event? And I kid you not, half, right down the middle. Half the people were like, oh, please do a live event. I want to see people so badly. And half of my list said, I don't want to travel. I'm terrified or whatever, just
you
elope
also
and get
had
it done.
Your introverts and your extroverts.
Yeah,
the extroverts got over their fear and
everybody was fine. We had an event. I had about 70, 80 people at the live event. I had another 150 on Zoom. And as far as I could tell, the Zoom people were very healthy. And as far as I could tell, the people in the audience with me were very healthy.
So the Zoom people didn't spread anything, right?
No, everybody had their own table.
Yeah.
People could wear masks if they wanted to. Nobody did, except for a couple. Very few people did, honestly. Look, if you come to an live event in the middle of a pandemic, you're like, I'm good. And again, it's a lot of this is a matter of mindset. It's how you view things,
I know you and I are big fans of Tony Robbins. He just did his virtual event because he's not really doing, and he addressed stuff like that where you had all of these people, masses of people focusing on fear every day because it was being programmed. So if you wonder why you're depressed and stressed and anxious and all of those things, especially if you're not normally feeling those things, it's because we've been fed just bad news, fear, just scaring you. It's like watching a horror movie, but it's in our life. It's not fiction. So
there's scientific. I'm saying this is not metaphysical stuff.
Yeah.
It is, but there is scientific data that definitively demonstrates that in an environment of fear or anger or worry, you physically get weaker and your immune system is less able to deal with. This is like peer-reviewed stuff. Okay. This is not made up. This is like the real thing. So my thing is, is spend your time around positive, engaging energy. For example, if you've been on this show watching, like Tyra's been here since the very beginning, I guarantee you feel better now than when you first came here. I do, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's because you're catching this energy wave, okay? And look, I know we can't define some of this stuff with chemistry and physics just yet, but we will. I guarantee you all this stuff people will start to figure out. And so the best thing you can do, I think right now, is get in a very positive environment with positive people. Let those embers come together and glow. And that's why I'm going to give you 2 tickets to my event. When you buy
I love it. Ed Rush is the best.
You can give them away if you want to.
That's an awesome gift. I love Tyra's comment about if you had a wedding schedule. Just elope and get it over with. Then go to Ed's event, or have the wedding at your event. There you go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Go back to the hotel or whatever. So, all right, Coach Deb, thank you.
Thank you, Ed Rush. And we're going to definitely have you back when you come out with your next book. But for now, those of you watching on Amazon Live, he has several books. You see the Miracle book, the Take the Shot book. And again, if you type in Ed Rush, like I did above here, you'll see all of the other books that he's got. 5-time bestselling author, 5-time bestselling author. And right now, if you get 5 of his books, paperback, any of his books, right? If you buy the Miracle book, the Take the Shot, 5 paperback books, he's going to get you 2 tickets to his live event. So if you've been craving and longing for live events, go grab 5 of Ed's books, subscribe to his channel, edrush.com. And by the way, when you get the Miracle book, I think it's like the second page as you're scrolling in, you'll find a way to get a lot of free bonuses, trainings, videos from Ed. So take Ed in your pocket, take him on the road, take him wherever you are while you're doing laundry, have him inspire you with these words of wisdom. He's a fighter pilot who knew how to survive. If you watch his bio, you're going to be amazed at what he's done. So the things that he has done, he has put all into this book for you and your life. So again, for $1 on Kindle, for $15 on paperback, right? Grab it and then go to his live event and really learn from Ed and be inspired. I've known you for at least 15 years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think it's at least 50, maybe 20. You're one of my longer term friends here in California.
Yeah, you came to a party at my house like in 2008 back when you were married.
Yeah, that's how I know how long it was. Calculate. Wait, when was I married?
Yep. That was before you moved to Hawaii, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, and by the way, the Hawaii, there was a story about that when you were talking about, you can't change City Hall, you can't change government, all of that. It reminded me of the story when I first moved to Hawaii and I had 2 dogs, a Rottweiler and a Chow Chow. And the Chow Chow didn't make it. 3 weeks into quarantine, we did all the things we were supposed to do. It was horrible. They didn't tell us that they took a break in the middle of the day and it was super hot on that side. So he drank all this water. He's a high-chested dog. It was a terrible story. However, it turned into something for all military now that benefit from it because they don't have to go through that horrible quarantine anymore because we didn't believe you couldn't change City Hall. And we told our story about our dog. And man, when you get in front of a courtroom and you talk about your Chow Chow that died unnecessarily, you get people emotionally charged and go, it's time to change here. So if you have a story about changing things and you want to get that out, start a YouTube channel, start an Amazon channel, start an Instagram, but start with the belief of what Ed said before. Think about the words and your thoughts because it's so powerful. Because if I didn't believe, or if I did believe everyone who's telling me, Hawaii's different, you can't change City Hall here. I was like, well, I'm going to try. I'm going to at least try. And now you don't have the 3-month quarantine that you had to go through because it was, that's a huge military town. You have families coming in and they all have a pet. They all have a dog, right? And they no longer have to go through quarantine. Now, it was an unfortunate event, but we were able to use it to change the lives of so many and pets and everything. So don't believe the lie. Don't believe the tortoise and the hare story, right? Get Ed's book. I'm going to hold up my Kindle again because I can literally see the chapter where you talk about the myths and the lie that we learn in childhood that we need to reprogram ourselves if you want to be successful, if you want to change habits, if you want to get rid of addictions. Read his book, The 21-Day Miracle by Ed Rush, fighter pilot, 5-time bestselling author, and my friend. Ed, I love you. Thank you for being on the show, being my first guest, going through some of the, glitches and tech stuff that we figured it out.
You were the one that got me on Amazon Live. So I owe you a thanks too. So thank you.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tyra.
Awesome. We're going to say aloha, and I'm just going to wave while all of the broadcasts end over here and on Amazon Live. And by the way, hit me up if you are on Amazon Live or if you want to be on Amazon Live and learn how to stream it with StreamYard.vip, because we figured that out today, Ed, because again, what we believed we could, right?
You got it.
Virtual high five.
See ya.
Thank you, my friend.
Yep.
Bye, everyone. And